Bum, bum,
Bum,
bum,
bum,
bum,
bum, bum,
bum,
bum,
bum,
bum,
bum.
bum, bum, Kilted balls.
That sounded. You thought you were supposed to change it up this time.
That was different. That was a different
Almost
theme
exactly the
song.
same. Threw me off.
No way. So welcome back to the Kilted Balls podcast. I actually don't even remember what episode we're on. I think it's 36. And
like
we've got
that.
a special guest with us today, as well as the Uncaged gang lurking in Discord and asking us questions while we go. But we have brought Gamma onto our show today. Gamma is actually a friend in real life and in our D&D campaigns. Actually a damn good GM and an okay player.
I will accept that.
But we thought for today's episode, especially as Uncaged is getting ready for their big launch, Gamma is new to the NFT space, about as rookie as it can get. I don't even think he has a wallet. And so today he is going to be asking us questions and having us take him through and teach him different things. And, we'll try to answer them as best we can. And if people from the Uncaged group join the channel, we will answer theirs as well. And in fact, I think I can do one better and share my screen with that channel.
Oh, nice.
See that as well. So you can see me talking. Hello.
And can they hear all of us?
I do not think they can hear you and Gamma. I don't know though. Like on my screen, it says you guys are muted. So unless you guys unmute, then they can't hear you. So in the channel,
we can unmute ourselves?
I believe you can.
Oh, nice. Oh, there we go. Wow, sweet.
Look at you.
Oh, wait, nope.
Skills.
I'm not unmuted. I just thought I was. Oh.
Well, nice job.
This channel requires push to talk to voice chat.
Even better. That way you can't just ramble on. So
I don't know if it did it.
For those of you joining us, you might know Kilted from his claim to fame. Kilted, can you show us now what you are known for? Can you put it on the screen?
Sure. Well, yeah, I think so. I almost wore this shirt yesterday. Give me 1 second.
Somebody just posted rank in the Discord. Oh, he has to take off his clothes apparently to show us this. There we go. Very good. Very good.
Besides just being all around sexy and taking your shirt off.
All right, show us. Oh, there they are, the V friends.
Well, I've got my V friends on there.
Oh,
and
always impressive.
Did shout out the Uncaged gang. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm excited for and ready to hopefully at least.
Oh my gosh, it was great hearing you shout Uncaged. It was good. It was nice. And I don't know, there's our voice channel. It like all of a sudden disappeared on me. Thank you for the Uncaged people joining us. I think you can hear me. I hope. So as you're hearing stuff, if you have questions, I don't know if Kilted and Gamma are unmuted there, but I don't know how to unmute you guys unless you guys know how to do it. I repeat stuff you say. So
I tried to unmute it. I'm sure it's user error for sure, but I can try it again.
I would believe it. You have a lot of errors in your life.
Mine says I do not have permission to speak in this channel, which makes sense. Which is fair. I wouldn't let you speak either.
I don't blame them. Gradients. Oh, you can hear them.
You can hear us? Oh, okay. Then there's nothing to worry about.
Oh, excellent.
If Gradients can hear you, then life is good. Gradients, you can hear them, yes? Oh, then we're all good.
Perfect.
All right, so Gamma, go ahead. Start firing your questions and we will do our best.
Well, first I want to say thanks for allowing me to come on here and do this. I have been listening to the podcast and I am not all the way through it. So some of my questions, I'm sure you guys have gone over already. I know some of them I've listened to and some of them I'm sure I haven't got to yet, but I do appreciate you guys having me on and I love the podcast. Love what you guys are doing. So I guess we'll start with what's the first thing a person should do when, starting into NFTs and the cryptocurrency. I've always been interested in it, but I've never really dipped my toe in. So for somebody that's just brand new, where do you start?
You want me to go, Kilted?
Yeah, you can go first. You definitely.
So I think when you're first getting into crypto, I think there's a few things that you should do right off the bat. The first is to do some research, right? This is not a great place for beginners always, and it's really easy to get taken advantage of and make monumental mistakes. So doing a little research is good. Asking lots of questions is good. So what you're doing right now, that's a great way to start. Then I think the most obvious, and Kilted can correct me if I'm wrong, is to make a wallet.
Yeah.
Which does not take a lot of time. I think most people who are interested in NFTs do their first wallet on MetaMask. And I think the first place the majority of people we know who make it for trading is probably on Coinbase.
Those are, yeah, I agree with that. It's two definitely solid starts. Yeah, I think especially with Coinbase in the news and being a publicly traded company, a lot of people are comfortable with putting their information in. And I do agree with the research first. And anything like this, if you're gonna mess around with it, like make sure that if it goes to zero, that you're still going to be able to eat, you're still going to be able to pay your bills. Only mess with money that you can really afford to lose. Like there's been tons of people who great things have happened, but it's not necessarily the rule, and you really do have to pay attention. I have tons of NFTs that are just zero sitting in my wallet. Now, some of them I just really like the artwork, so that's fine with me. But if you're looking to make, you're trying to make money or do some quick flips, it's you really have to pay attention. And then another one, and it's going to come up on another episode, but anyone who was paying attention, or if you didn't catch my interview last night on the VFriends news, like take your seed phrase, like write it down, triple check it, put it somewhere super safe, make sure it's not messed up, everything's spelled correctly. And we're going to get that story, but it doesn't sound like it has a happy ending.
Yeah. Seed phrases are kind of a big deal when you're making your MetaMask. It's interesting when I was getting back into the space. So something most people don't know is I got involved with crypto ages ago, teaching it in a class, but it was a long time ago. And I didn't do anything with it, but it was before seed phrases existed. And so when Kilted and I were first getting started, he's like, okay, you're going to need your seed phrase and this and that. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I was pre-seed phrase, which is crazy now. But you will have people ask for seed phrases a lot, and you don't want to give that up ever to anybody.
Nope.
And the other thing is you don't want to lose your seed phrase. So people have a bad habit of losing those, and you don't want to do that. So safe, secure, and secret is kind of a big thing for the seed phrase.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I guess I'm going to jump to a little bit crypto and NFT. Is cryptocurrency worth investing in just to have and kind of play with that market? Or do you recommend primarily, if you're limited on funds, would you say primarily do NFTs if you're trying to flip stuff, or split your money between different types of crypto and dipping into NFTs? What do you guys think?
All right. So first thing that has to be said is this is not financial advice, people.
Nope.
We are not financial advisors. We are just giving you our experiences. So not financial advice.
Understood.
So the first thing is, investing in crypto is big. And if you want to do something safe that you can have confidence in, you hit the two obvious ones, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? They're pretty entrenched. They're not going anywhere. I think there's nobody out there who thinks either of those is going to not go up in the next 3 months by a lot. So those are not financial advice, but pretty safe investments as far as that goes. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I agree 1,000%. And are you going into the NFTs now?
I was going to say the difference is with NFTs are more volatile. And understand we're saying that compared to crypto, which is volatile, right? So NFTs, in my experience, require a hell of a lot more research than just crypto alone, right? So like, here's the thing. If you own a Bitcoin right now, right? So all of our friends, all of our listeners who are buying Bitcoins or, maybe have some or maybe don't. But if you have a whole Bitcoin right now, there is going to come a time where you are going to have more wealth than a tremendous amount of people in the world because there's only so many Bitcoins, right? So unless that changes, you're going to be pretty wealthy with a single Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a safe long-term bet. Whether it goes up or down in the long term, you're safe. But with an NFT, the true value is in your opinions and the communities you are in. And so, like Kilton said, he has some that are dead. Those were missing things and they dropped to zero. It's like buying a picture of Burt Reynolds at a garage sale that you thought would be awesome, and then your wife hates it. Like it's not worth anything to you, right? Yeah, that's right. A Burt Reynolds reference. Yeah. You don't hear that.
Did you
on
win a
every
bet
podcast.
somewhere?
Yeah.
I mean, there had to have been a bet someplace. You're like, I'm gonna drop a Burt Reynolds. So one thing that I really like about the NFTs is that even if you're going to come in later and because I've started doing that for myself now. I haven't minted in a long time, and tomorrow is going to be the first time in a long time that I've minted anything, or at least I'm going to attempt to. But to buy a little later, like if I'm seeing some of the community and some of the ideas and some of the things that I like, then I'm willing to go in. But then if your NFT is raising in price and Ethereum is raising in price, then it's kind of compounding, which is cool. So because you're spending the Ethereum to get the NFTs. So I bought back in for my Bored Ape Kennel Club. I had sold my dog. They were going up, and I was excited to move it, and I transferred that money into some other things. But I bought back in just this last week at half the price that I sold it for. And then instantly I was already, it was going up from where I could have bought it, and Ethereum's been going up. So, I mean, for me, that's a long-term hold now, but it's kind of compounding. If I needed that, I could take it out and have it. So thankful.
But it's a market, so they drop too.
Mhm.
So a great
Yeah,
example
for sure.
that Kilton and I both have dealt with is we both got in on a Mike Tyson NFT pretty much right at the launch. It's personally, I love the artwork. I love the idea. We got
Corey
into
Van
the
Leeuw.
Mike Tyson. Yeah, Corey Van Leeuw. He does great work. I think I love his use of colors. And it was Mike Tyson, right? Like what we grew up with over here in America. It was kind of a big deal. Yeah, that's the picture gradients. Nice. And so we got in on that. And then, it kind of started to go up, and we were like, ooh, is this going to keep going up? And so we both sold, like we sold our Tysons, and then they went up, they doubled again.
You sold yours first.
I sold mine first.
I sold mine almost at the top.
As a rule of thumb, those of you on Uncaged listening, here's a rule from the podcast. When I buy stuff, it automatically loses value. Sorry, Uncaged, because I'm buying tomorrow. So the value's about to drop. But when I sell, the prices always go up. So that is like a guarantee that happens every time. But so sold to Mike Tyson, the prices went up. Oh, they just banned me.
Smart.
The prices,
I'll take his things. I can mint for you.
But so the prices went up, and then we both got out of it, and we've been kind of watching, and the prices have dropped almost lower than what we paid for them, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you got in at the high, you just lost $32,000, right? Like that, and it's gone. So you got to really pay attention, and you got to decide if you're hodling or not. And one of the other things that are fun, Gamma, is NFTs and crypto have their own language, right? So you've got to make a decision being what we call diamond hands or being what we call paper hands, right? So in Uncaged, I'm a diamond hand. I'm planning on getting my nails. I'm planning on buying a real life nails and sneaking it into the house. I'm so excited. I know, right? I got a basement. But that's a long-term hold for me. But
Same.
other things, I'm like a total paper hands with. So I bought the Sweet Futures, which are like sports cards, and like I've listed every single one of them. Like I don't care. Those I'm just trying to get rid of, right? So, but you'll hear that vernacular where people say, "Yeah, I'm a diamond hands" or "I'm a paper hands." So clearly, with V Friends, Kilted is a diamond hand. Like he freaking got a tattoo.
Clearly.
I'm sure those aren't.
I do have one that is for sale, but it's not on my arm. So, which I bought when I sold my Tysons.
Good trade. Good trade. Yep. All right. So next question.
All right. All right. What is, I've heard the term staking for cryptocurrencies. What is that? And is it a good idea?
So I've actually only staked one thing, and it's a funny story. So I bought a bunch of Shiba like shortly after like the news was coming out and stuff. I had some Doge, and I was super excited at money that I made off of Doge. So I'm like, you know what? This is a meme coin. This is kind of fun. Blah blah blah. I'll buy some of this too. So I put $500 into it, and it was just kind of sitting in my wallet. And I forget how I stumbled across it, but I stumbled across the Shiba Inu website, and they had a spot where you could stake and talking about some other things that project was doing, which I didn't realize. I thought it was just, kind of like a joke coin, like Doge's, even though Doge may be the people's money someday. And I hear like people much smarter than myself talking about that. It could very well be, it could be the world money, but it wasn't made to do anything. But the Shiba Inu, you actually could stake it along with, there's all sorts of different things you could do. You can get some of their other coins that community's made. Long story short, I staked it, which is basically, there's different ways you can do it. Well, actually, I take that back. As far as I know, you're basically not loaning, but it's not in my wallet anymore. So I guess it's more of a loan. So you're loaning your crypto in, and they're using it maybe to loan out or for liquidity or whatever, and then you're getting a percentage back. So when I first staked my Shiba, I think it was something silly like 200 or 300%, and I had to put some wrapped ETH in with it. So I did that, and then I have heard horror stories, and I'm not sure if it's just with staking or with some other things that I haven't done, but like if the price drops, then you have to add liquidity or you'll lose your initial stake. And I thought that's what happened because I couldn't find my Shiba anywhere. So I wrote it off as lost and whatever. And then just recently I was back on the site, and I happened to see like one spot that I'd never noticed before, and I clicked it because I had to stake it for 6 months. But I clicked this, and it showed me like, oh, here's your stuff. So I'm like, okay. That's cool. So I think from looking at what I can see there, it looks like I've added like, I think it's 60 million more Shiba, and actually I was just looking at it today, almost another Ethereum. So once that's done, like it's gonna come out, and I'll be able to do whatever with it. But I stake my Cardano as well, my ADA. And it's very similar like that. You just put in a pool, and it pays you back interest or whatever. Like I have it where I'm actually getting a different coin because I wanted to do that and get some meld, but that's different. So yeah, it's a way to earn interest on your crypto. And if anyone in the group has a different answer, much better than mine, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so those of you on Uncaged, do any of you have experience with staking any of your cryptocurrency? You can either put it in the general chat, or I can hear you, I believe, if you talk.
Okay.
No one said anything. By the way, if you guys on Uncaged are like, does that really happen to Ball? Does prices drop like that? No shit. They've been tracking it. Kilted and another friend of mine. And it's seriously,
Tell your Solana story.
that was not the story I was going to go with, but that is the worst story. So I didn't do any research. Kilted talked to me and said, you should really buy Solana.
I never
And so-
said that.
Yes, he did, over and over, right? And so I'm like, okay, I didn't listen to him with apes. I didn't listen to him with V friends. I'm going to buy some Solana. So I buy a shit ton of Solana, and it drops through the floor. And I'm like, Kilted is such a dumbass every time. And so I leave it there for forever in crypto time, which
So
means
a
like
week.
2 weeks, right? And it finally goes back up. And as soon as it goes back what I paid for it, like maybe like, I don't know what, 5 cents higher, I was like, oh, finally. And I sold it all and was like, thank goodness.
And what
And
was
then-
that price at? Do you remember?
I think it was at $30.
Okay, I thought it was 34, but okay.
It might, either way, it was like $30 or $34. And can you tell Gamma what Solanas is right now?
Last I checked, it was 188. But
I
our friend
sold it
Jamie
for-
did buy some under 100. He was laughing at you because
He
he
was
was
like-
talking about it.
He's like, oh, I heard that you were getting rid of your Solana, so I bought a whole bunch of it. And the stupid shit went over $100 within a day. And I was so upset.
I'm sorry, it's 186 right now.
186. Yeah, you suck. So yeah, so that happens to me. Fame Lady Squad is another good one. Hilton and I, we love Fame Lady Squad. So if there's
Mhm.
any Fame Lady Squad holders here, we love our Fame Ladies. But we bought the floor of Fame Ladies. So I think it was like the first weekend of September. We sat in a coffee shop
Mhm.
and we gobbled up the floor. We raised
Yep.
the floor all the way to 0.15.
Mhm.
We have a ton of Fame Ladies. And son of a gun, if those things didn't drop right after we got done. So
I think they're
yeah.
0.08 right now, so it's
Yeah,
all right.
0.08. We cleared the floor and they dropped to 0.08.
Well, let me know when you're thinking about getting rid of those. I'll go get some.
Yeah, right. That's the whole point. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants, we'll give you free advice on this. You'll know that I'm about to sell on the podcast, and that's a great time to get ready to buy.
So kind of going along with the cryptocurrency stuff, is there a way to tell? I don't know if it's just a lot of research. If there's a way to tell one that's low now might jump in price, or is it just kind of a crapshoot?
If anyone
No.
knows, I'd love.
Yeah. So first off, a good chunk of the summer, they were all following each other pretty darn well. And so you could kind of judge by where Bitcoin was going, where everybody else would go. Now things have changed a little bit, but what's been really interesting lately, and there's a whole bunch of people in the Twitterverse who make lots of graphics of this and share them, that people are just so friendly in the NFT space. Everybody wants everybody to win. At least that's my perception.
I agree.
Like nobody wants someone to lose. They really believe that as long as everybody's winning, like that's good, right? There doesn't have to be losers in this game. And so people share all that. And one of the big things right now is people are matching how these graphs are comparing with each other over time. So for example, right now, Ethereum, if I'm right, and someone can correct me if I screw this up, but Ethereum right now is matching Bitcoin's graph from 2017.
13.
13. Thank you. So you can kind of judge, hey, it's been mirroring it. So whatever Bitcoin did then, Ethereum is about to do. And who's the guy that we like, Jer, or Kilted? Who's the guy who's made the predictions that have been right now? Like,
Oh, Plan B.
thank you, Plan B. God, I almost forgot. So Plan B, like so far, he's been
Stop
right
the
with
flow.
his end of month predictions a lot. Right. So he's been predicting it every time what Ethereum's going to do, and
He's
been
got
doing-
all these things where he's like comparing it to gold and how much you can have and where the halving was and when it's coming next and like all these all these charts, and they've kind of come together, and it's either stock or stop. I've never actually read it. I've just heard it, stop the flow. And like just this summer, he was saying, okay, it's gonna be this August, September, October, and he's been hitting them. So, you know, a lot of people are really excited about that and where it's going. So all we really have is guessing. But like, if you had talked to me last week and said, okay, like Ethereum's going to take a big bump, like it's going to go up, and it had a nice run. You know, it jumped way up, which was awesome. Almost a new all-time high. Bitcoin did have an all-time high, and the corrections are really good. Like what's happening right now, some red is good because nothing goes up forever. But if you were to say, okay, all your stuff is going to be down between 5 and 10%, Cardano down 10% today, Solana 6, you know, almost 7%. But Shiba is going to be up 63% today. And over the last week, it's up 180%. Like no one could ever guess that.
And well, except he says that, right? So Kilted says, yeah, nobody could freaking guess that. But I'm running a practice the other day, and we're messaging each other back and forth. This was on, I think, Tuesday. I saw so yesterday. Right?
No, it was Monday when I bought more.
And he's like, hey, you should really buy this. You should buy this Shiba, blah, 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 blah. It's really big. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy Shiba when I get home. He's right. I need to put money in that. And I forgot about it, right? Like life happened and I didn't get on and buy Shiba. Honestly, Uncaged, it's probably your fault because I was probably sucked into a stupid trivia or Gardic game or chatting with you guys on Discord.
Good job.
Right. And I forgot.
That's why you're an OG and you get to admit early.
Right. And so I didn't buy Shiba. And then, oh, look, and you sold it. Nice job, Adam. Making me feel even worse.
Yeah. Well, I've
and
only
then
doubled.
It skyrocketed like 50%. I was like, son of a gun.
No, I've only doubled my money since I put that in there Monday.
Only doubled. Oh no.
I wish I would have put another 0 in there. That's bad by me.
I know, and I'm about to lose my bet. I put in a whole bunch of money into Ethereum at the beginning of the month because I said I guarantee this is going to double by the end of the month. And I don't think Ethereum's going to hit 6 by the end of in 3 days. So if it does hit 6 in 3 days, you heard it here first, and I'm going to look like a freaking genius. So.
So I assume that you kind of approach the cryptocurrency the same way you would like stocks, in that you want to buy in low, ideally. It goes up, you cash out, and then you basically wait for it to either drop the same bit cryptocurrency to drop, and then you buy back in, or you choose a different one. Is that kind of how you approach it?
Yeah, there's a couple things that are different than about stocks. That's the first thing. You're right. Like you sell it when it's high. Like somebody in the Discord just now was like, yeah, I just got rid of all my Shiba because it pumped, right? So they saw it went up, they got rid of it, and then they turned it into Ethereum so they can buy NFTs or whatever. But so that's the norm, that's what you do. But the other thing that's different about stocks, and I don't know how long this will be, but Kilted has done this multiple times now, I think. And that is, with stocks, you can't sell and buy right away the same thing, right? You can with crypto. What does that mean? That means if you bought your Ethereum like I did, I bought a whole bunch of Ethereum at 3,000, right? It's up at 4,000 now. If I sell it, I'm going to pay a whole bunch in capital gains tax, right? But let's say it drops to 2,000. I can sell it all at 2,000. I take a capital gains loss. I can rebuy it right then. So I can sell it all at 2,000. I can rebuy it all at 2,000. To the IRS, that's a taxable event, and I pay capital gains loss, even though I still have the Ethereum, and it's going to skyrocket.
Check with your local tax attorney.
This is not tax advice. This is not tax advice. That's true.
But yes, I have done that. Because that's my understanding of how things work currently. So that's awesome.
The taxes are weird. So the taxes on crypto,
nobody has any idea.
On NFT are kind of jacked up. So that's the scary part if you're an American. There's some weird tax stuff.
Weird tax stuff. So is it better than if you have a bunch of cryptocurrency, it jumps in price, you want to cash out essentially, is it better to turn that into cold hard American dollar cash, or is it better to flow that into a different cryptocurrency? Or is it just personal preference at that point?
Joe's asking such great questions for someone new. Mr.
For somebody
Researched.
new,
Getting
these
all
are
the newbie questions.
fantastic questions.
I mean,
No, these
I
are
have a
great.
great answer. I mean, this.
Go.
Oh, go. I've been talking a lot. Go.
No,
Go.
your answers.
So, yeah, there's a few different ways to look at it. I mean, a lot of people are taking all of their money and putting it into crypto because inflation is happening here in the United States. So you can see it at the grocery stores. You can see, buying bacon. It's a lot more, and there's not as much weight. And there's a lot of argument for that. The government is printing money, but at the same time, I just listen, and I'm a big fan. And he's a little more dry than I prefer. But Crypto Rain on YouTube, I enjoy his analytical outlook. If you get into stuff like that, it's just watching him. But anyways, he talks about it two ways. You can do it the old lady way, which you put your money in. You buy your coin, whatever coin you pick, and it goes up, and say it doubles in price. You take out your initial investment. And then you're picking different spots to take out your money again. So it doubles again, you take out another little bit. So you always have the same amount, say $1,000 that you put in originally. You still have $1,000 worth, you just don't have as many coins. Or you just put it in and you plan ahead. Like, okay, like I have a bunch where it's like, I'm not going to sell this until because there's going to be a bear market. It's going to come. I don't know if it's going to historically drop the 90% like it has in the past, but there's going to be a bear market, and things aren't going to be going up and going crazy, and there's going to be a huge crash. So my idea is by the end of this year, I'm going to do some serious looking, or maybe early next year to reevaluate, but where I'm going to want to cash out and put it in a stable coin, which is basically like putting in $1, but it's not pulling it all out into a fiat currency, where it's still I still have it in my hardware wallet, and then I can buy when things are low. So if everything crashes and burns, and I have everything that's been raised up, then I can buy at bargain basement. Like, I hope it's good. I hope it doesn't happen with NFTs. I imagine it will. A lot of them are going to crash. I mean, if CryptoPunks ever come back down to 30 again, like when I originally saw them, I'm buying one. Like instantly. I'm gonna figure out how to get that Ethereum together. So I mean, that's 2 cents. So it's just how you look at it, and you should have an idea going in, like what you want. Because if it's just kind of willy-nilly, like I don't really know what I want, like oh, my portfolio has gone up 10x. Oh, it's starting to fall. It can't fall that much, and then it falls below what you originally put in. You're going to be kind of sad. But if you're playing with money that you can afford to lose, it's fine. But it's nice taking that profit. It's nice, to have a little bit extra. It might not be Lambo money the first day, but it can be pretty exciting, and just make a lot of changes for people.
And the thing is, and it's true about NFTs, it's true about cryptos. They're going to crash, right? Some of them are going to crash for good, right? They're going to crash. They're going to disappear. And some of them are just going to crash. And there's lots of predictors of what the crash is going to look like. The thing is you want to sell before the crash. But the other thing is nobody thinks things like Bitcoin or Ethereum are going away. So yeah, it may crash 80%, but it's going to go up again too. Like it's going to skyrocket. So the goal, obviously, is you sell it near that high and you buy it all back when it hits that low. But that's way easier said than done, right? Like you kind of got to have a crystal ball, and you got to, know how to do that. And I would agree, Nolan, I would say minimum 90%. I think 99% of NFTs are going to crash because people are just making them, especially with the Polygon network. You can make them for free. Those aren't worth anything. So,
Yeah.
We're getting short on time. Anybody on the Uncaged Discord, do you have a question that we kind of inspired that you want us to try to answer, or something you want to kind of add? So we got lots and lots of listeners on the Uncaged right now. So
thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Anybody? I'm trying to say thanks to Gradients and it came
Okay,
out as
I can hear someone talking.
Oh, sorry.
I heard a hello.
Oh, it's Zal. The different strategies that we've talked about.
The classes.
The class that I taught. Yeah. So this is going to sound kind of weird, and we could probably do an entire episode on this. So as somebody said in the Discord today, you must be the cool teacher, and I am. Right. So I am.
No bias.
But the class that we're referring to is I actually taught a class that was research and development. And so students could pick whatever they were passionate about, whatever that was. I didn't care what it was. And then I would help them research and develop whatever they wanted with that passion. Right. So like in today's terms, if it was NFTs, I would get them in touch with people. I would help them. We would develop an entire NFT thing. Right. And FYI, doing that for those kids, the stuff those kids did was freaking amazing. Like seriously blow your mind stuff that these kids invented, created, dealt with. It was great. But had a couple different groups who were like, we've heard of this thing called Bitcoin. We want to learn about that. We want to mine it. We want to do all of this stuff. And so they built miners, they bought miners, we created them. We were running them all off of the school's power, so we didn't have to worry about electricity costs. But in a lot of our presentations, people would have us come and speak about the class a lot. And most of their presentation was trying to explain to people what the hell cryptocurrency was,
This was 8-9 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was, I'll tell you, when it first started, I think Bitcoins were like $100. So whenever they were $100, because my first group through, we were laughing about, $100 is too much to spend. We're not going to buy it. And the next group went through and it was like 400 to 1,000. And I was like, man, I wish I'd bought it when it was 100, but this is just a fad. I'm not going to buy it. And oh my gosh. I'm like, the kids were like looking at buying it and man, I wish they had, right? Like how stupid were we, But yeah, so anyway, they did that kind of stuff. And in fact, I was looking at the miner still today. We got in, for any of you who have done mining or know this, the first miners my students like either made or bought were USB miners, like this big. Like that's it. You plugged them into your USB port on your computer and your computer would mine it from your USB port. Like that's how early we were.
That's awesome.
Right? It's when people were still using their graphics processors to do it, right? So they were using like Python and stuff like that and trying to code it to do the mining. It was a good time. I mean, they were awesome kids. I need to look up a couple of them and find, because it took me forever to figure out their passwords to get into all the wallets just recently. So I'm like, I need to know what those guys are doing. I think one of them's made his whole engineering firm now, right? Like, we did some awesome stuff. So there were some cool things.
That's awesome. Well, before we head out, I want Joe to plug a little bit, because one of the reasons besides, or Gamma, I'm sorry, Joe.
No, it's all good. Either one's fine. Either one's
fine. Besides being a friend of ours and our DM for D&D, he's got his own podcast as well, and YouTube, and just give those a quick plug if anyone out there is interested in those as well. I'd love for you to get a little bit more traffic.
Well, sure, and I greatly appreciate that. I do have a YouTube channel only right now, Gamma Scion. You can look that up. It's mostly me playing football, video games, and kind of streaming that stuff. But I also talk a little bit about Michigan and Michigan State football, because I'm in Michigan, so those are the local teams. And I like watching football. So that's what I got going right now. But I do, in the next couple of weeks, plan to get a tabletop role-playing game podcast going, which I hope you guys are planning to be a part of that as well. Some of the gaming guys that we play with, we're going to get that up and running. We're just going to go through role-playing games from a very broad standpoint and kind of how we approach the game as DMs and characters and players and that sort of thing.
So I'm excited about that. I was excited when I got a notification about your podcast doing the preview for U of M MSU. I didn't get to look at it, but yeah, I was excited about that. So we did have a question come through that I want to answer before we go. And if either Kilted or Gamma, if you want to leave to switch to your other Discord, you know, feel free, but I can handle this question, I think. So the question came to us from, I'm going to say it's Dre Day 9380. So I don't know if I pronounced that right, but looks like Dre Day 9380 to me. And it was, what do you look at before you buy an NFT? Like the roadmap, the art, the community, like what are you looking at? And so there's a few things we look at. The first lesson I've learned is that Kilted is wrong 90% of the time, easily 90% of the time. So you've really got to take it with a grain of salt when he says to buy stuff. So he was right on Bored Apes. Like he nailed Bored Apes.
Someone told me Bored Apes. I was only ready to be friends.
So, okay, maybe he's wrong 99% of the time because a whole bunch of the stuff he's had me get.
I have a couple other wins in there.
So I do a few different things, Dre Day, when I'm like trying to check it out. I always check out their Twitter. I always check out their Discord. So those are kind of like givens for me. I want to see that their Discord is higher than what they're minting. So like if you're minting, like Uncaged, right? So Uncaged has somewhere between, let's say, 1,000 and 2,000, but they've got 4,000 members in their Discord. That's pretty good, right? That means there's going to be huge demand for the Uncaged product, which means that if you're a paper hands, those prices are probably going to go up after the initial launch. They're going to jump. So if you're trying to make a quick flip, that lets you know. Looking at the community. So one, not just how big the community is, but how involved it is. So people have heard me multiple times talk about Uncaged. I love this community. I was talking about it today with a guy and I was like, it's amazing to me how fast you can make a community when people are genuine and they're caring and they're nice, right? That kindness goes a long way. And so you get this beautiful community like we have in Uncaged, which the response from the guy, FYI, was like, well, yeah, but you don't know these people in real life, so you can't really trust them. I'm like, I don't know you. I'm like, and you're standing right in front of me. Like, you got to make a decision whether you trust somebody, whether it's virtually or whether it's in real life. You know, I've met a lot of bad people in my life who, when I met them in real life and knew them in real life, ended up not being good people. And I didn't know that, right? Like people keep secrets really, really well, right? Like, I mean, there's fetishes Kilted have that if I knew about his fetishes before, Kilted and I wouldn't be friends, right? Like that's just
too late now.
It's too late. Now we're stuck with each other, right? But so that community is huge. And so if you've got a really powerful community that can really help keep the product going. So a great example of that is Fame Lady Squad. Like, I don't think Fame Lady had enough people necessarily involved, but their community is powerful. And that community means I'm totally good with the fact that we cleared the floor because it's going to go up, right? It's going to go up eventually because that community is powerful. So I think the community is a big thing. I think that, and we always talk a lot about what value is being added. So you can tell, by the way, FYI, why I'm so hype on the 8.1 Uncaged, because you're hitting all of my check marks, right? So not only do we have a big community here, so more than we need to get the launch, we have a community that's solid. And then the next question is what's the value added? And so I don't want things like a roadmap that says, oh, eventually we're going to have a game. Like I've been burned by that, right? Like Yeti still hasn't freaking released a game. Okay. Or like, ooh, we're going to make AI for all the dragons. Yeah, well, Hammer Dragons is still sitting at 1,000 sold. They're struggling, right? That stuff has to be ready. You've got to have something like Uncaged is doing, or what Deadheads did, or what Stoner Cats did, where they're like, this is what we're going to do. And look, we have it ready. It's set to go. We've got proof. So Uncaged is like, hey, you're going to buy a nails. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be original. And FYI, you're going to get 7 more. They're already done. They're already planned.
And there's a story, which is great.
And there's a huge story. You've got a group of creatives who are kicking the shit out of things. Like, so we're going to see this. That's why this makes all the checks, right? Sorry, was that too long of an answer for trading?
Okay, quit not swinging.
I kind of get passionate, right? When I get passionate about stuff, I kind of ramble a little bit. So sorry, guys. All right. So hopefully that answered your question, right? I'm trying to think if there's other things I look at. I will look at a lot of extra stuff. What I have found, and Gary Vee says this all the time, do like, what does he say, 50 hours of research? And I always scoff at that until Gary Vee taught me a super powerful lesson. He got on his stupid Discord and he said, listen, I just talked to these people, Uncanny Unicorns. They're awesome people. Do what you want, do your research, but they're cool. And everybody went and started to mint Uncanny Unicorns. I was like, yeah, Gary Vee said this. And I didn't do any research. And I bought 3 Uncanny Unicorns. And they are now in my dead pile. Like that project's going nowhere. It's dead in the water right now. And maybe someday it'll take off. But that was because I listened to Gary say, yeah, look at this. Instead of listening to Gary saying, do your freaking research, right? Like, yeah. I wouldn't have bought those if I had done the research. I'd have been like, wait a second, there's some red flags here, which I realized after the fact.
But you have like one of the most rare ever on that. So
I do. I have the rarest ever of something that's done. Dre Day, I still have like 8 Sweet Futures, but I sold 3 of them. And the funniest story, and this is what we're going to end with because we got to check out. So those of you who are listening to this, the funniest thing, I listed all of my Sweet Futures this weekend. I'm like, I'm getting rid of these. I want to pick up some nails with that money rather than cashing money out. And I sold 3 of them pretty quickly. And I was like, yes. And I'm like, oh, who did I sell them to? And so I'm like looking at the wallets. Kilted bought one of them.
I needed that one to have the whole set.
I was selling it from a different address than my normal address. And he didn't know it was me. And he bought one of my own.
It's in the family.
So dang funny. I would have charged you double if I'd known.
I know.
All right. Well, I think we need to end it today. We're super late. We're going to get in trouble. But thank you so much, Gamma, for joining us. Thank you, listeners. Uncaged, you guys rock. We'll do this again. We enjoyed having you on. But thank you guys so much. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilter Dragon Jer, love you all.
This is Gamma. I want to say thank you to you guys for allowing me to do this. I do have more questions. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2. But also my tabletop role-playing game podcast that hopefully you guys will be a part of is also called Mythrole, ROLE. Look for that in a couple of weeks. We're going to get that up and going. So thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate all your wisdom.
Thank you. See ya.